Hi. There we go. How are you guys doing? We're going to give it like 2 seconds here while people start jumping on. Just that awkward pause at the beginning. So if you're watching in the replay, there we go. So anyways, now people are joining us. So today, Lindsay Shaw, who is one of our team members, she is on here. She is the one that I tease about the mushrooms all the time. So anyway, since I'm mentioning her name, I will say that. But she needed me to do some video clips. She is in charge of my social media and making sure that I have little blog clips going out and different things, and she wanted me to talk about myself and the cross legacy and those kind of things, and I'm like, let's do it on live. And then people like send me little hearts and it makes me smile. So anyways, it's way easier to feel like I'm talking to friends than feeling like I'm talking to the camera. So I'm moving this chair just awkwardly here, but anyways, so Lindsay's going to be on here. She's going to be asking me questions. I'm going to be answering them, and then if anybody else has any questions while I'm here. So this is not a normal produce haul video or whatever. This is kind of you getting to learn a little bit more about me and a little bit more about the cross legacy and these little video clips. The hearts always give me. But anyways, this video will end up being little clips that we're going to use for different maybe like news briefing kind of things of who we are. So anyways, I see Lindsay on here saying good to see you guys. So I'm seeing her questions, so ask away. I am here. So hearts. See it's so much nicer talking to friends than oh, Belgium, you are not on our map. We need to get Belgium on our map, so I will make sure that I do that. That is not a country that's on my map, so I'm excited about that. I wonder what time it is there. It's 1:20 our time here in the Seattle area. So Connecticut is another one that just popped on. So okay, Lindsay, it's all you. Tell me what you want to know. There's all these people joining. Lindsay, where's your questions? Okay. So, well, I will just start because I haven't seen our questions pop up yet. But my name is Amy Cross, and I live in the Seattle area. We live like a half an hour away from Seattle. And there we go. And I have been married to my high school sweetheart forever. So we met in junior high, and we started dating my senior year of high school. And got married and all the things. But anyways, this is our 24th year of marriage. So we've been married forever, it seems like. And then why I started the Cross Legacy. So around 5 or 6 years ago, I'm confused now with the New Year's, what year that was, I don't know. Anyways, about 5 or 6 years ago, I started getting this calling on my heart that I wanted to like help mentor other moms, and I didn't know what that was going to look like. That's not true. I've had a calling on my heart to mentor other moms like my whole life, but that there was something with the Cross Legacy that I was supposed to be doing, but I didn't know what it was exactly. And so I was praying about it and trying to figure out what that meant, and I thought maybe it was a couple different things, and it wasn't. And then all of a sudden, like, I was totally bored this summer because I couldn't do a lot of things because we were in the middle of a kitchen remodel, which is still not done, if you see. But anyways, we were in the middle of a kitchen remodel, and it was really I was bored. We were stuck at home and I was bored, so I decided to start a blog. So July 1st, I made our first post on the blog and here on Instagram as the Cross Legacy. And then like 2 months later, Strawberries in the Jar, which just randomly I was posting stuff that was in my fridge and talking about it. Strawberries in the Jar went viral, and like January 1st was officially 6 months since I started the blog, and we are at 76,000 followers. Like, it's just crazy. It's just unreal, the reach that we have, like all the way across the globe, that people are starting to learn things about us and why we do things, and just know that like it's not something random I just saw on TikTok one time, or one of those things. Like, it's like habits that we've been doing for years and years and years. So, our strawberries always last this way. It's not like just the first time doing it. Like my produce always lasts for weeks. We are not throwing it away because it goes bad. So, anyways, so the Cross Legacy it is our family motto that our last name is Cross, and we always have talked about living a life that's a legacy and wanting to make generational change and changing our family tree. So the name just came from being, part of how we live, like the Cross Legacy. And then the branch on the logo, there's a branch and it represents my family with all the limbs, but my mom's maiden name is Branch. And so all of my cousins and aunts and uncles and everybody is Branches. So when you see the Cross Legacy logo and the branch, that represents my other side of the family. So it's my married last name and my grandparents' last name. So that's why the logo has a branch on it, and all the limbs and leaves and stuff represent certain things. What does the Cross Legacy and the community mean to me? Everything. Everything. So to me, this is a calling on my heart, and so being able to not just save you guys money and help, save you guys money by not going to the grocery store and to relieve some stress, but this is really a calling on my heart to reach other moms and reach other families and to help reduce stress and the hurts always. But to me, this is a ministry, and this is how God is using me and using my life and to help other families, and just knowing how stressful not being able to buy groceries or worrying about what day's payday and if we have enough food to last until payday, and is that going to go bad before payday and then I can go grocery shopping. We have known that struggle for so many years, and to be able to teach other people now how to be able to have groceries your whole payday, or to look ahead and have groceries if there wasn't a payday, to know how to plan for your family ahead of time, to know that we are helping families, especially hardworking families that are working so much and still can't afford to get the groceries in the house that they need. Or once they do buy the groceries, they're throwing them away. I've had so many people that have reached out to me and just said they've just stopped buying produce. They can't afford it. They've just stopped buying produce for their families. Their kids get what they need at, school for produce, it just makes me so sad that we as a society have decided that produce is just too expensive, and not, that is not something that's worth buying, and our families should be eating a rainbow every day, every week. It should be based about eating a rainbow, and so anyway, so for me, the Cross Legacy will always be a ministry to me. We are growing this as a business, and the idea is, as this becomes a business, we can make the team bigger and we can do bigger things, but it will always be about blessing other people and seeing what we can do back in the community, and the world. Who knows what's going to happen? There's some other questions that popped up. I'm going to try to take a deep breath because I don't want to cry. Just give me 2 seconds here. There are a lot of things that popped up. Okay. So I did the Cross Legacy. And just scroll here. Sorry. There's a little leg. Oh, yeah, that happens sometimes. Sorry. I noticed when I'm reading these, I always lick my teeth too. I do it all the time. And I watch it on the replay and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. So there's the community. Okay. If there's any other questions here, sometimes I get stuck. Hi, have to tell you that your blog and your posts have saved me so much money. Thank you. Yeah, we're just trying to focus on like 1 or 2 produce items a month, like whatever's in season, like when things really start getting in season again. And then this month we're going to talk about taking inventory of what you have in your pantry and your freezers and stuff right now, and trying to give ideas of how to use it and how long until it expires and when you should be rotating it and like all those kind of things, but focusing kind of on taking a good look in your cupboards and your freezers and stuff. And then we're working on doing a downloadable inventory sheet too. So we think that will help people. I always, every season, so definitely in the winter, and then so the winter, right before summer, right after summer, I always go through and double check everything, because it seems like what you eat in the winter time and what you eat in the summertime are like different. And so right in January, I always go through and I make like a complete inventory and kind of see where we're at with everything. And then right at the beginning of summer, I kind of do the same thing where we do a lot of batch cooking. So if it's like stews and different things that I want to eat up that we wouldn't eat in the summertime, I want to try to eat those up like later in the spring. And then towards the end of August, beginning of September, when kids go back to school, then I kind of do like one more, like really peek into the freezers and check and make sure that we've used up any of like the hot dog buns and like those kind of things that we don't seem to use during the winter time. So I really try to think of like seasonally what we are using and what's coming next and what we don't want to have sitting there forever. Let's see. Love that God is using you this way. You definitely have been a blessing to my home, teaching me these things and tricks. Thank you. But who inspires you for the cross legacy and for life? So, my grandparents were huge, like all of them. All of my grandparents growing up. I grew up on a 5th generational farm that was 200 acres. And so it was like the house that my great grandparents had lived in. My grandparents had a dairy farm there. My dad grew up in the house. When I was growing up, my grandpa still lived with us there. And then, so anyways, it was just a fifth generational, like everything was about family and legacy. And then the branch side of my family, my grandparents were also just huge and inspiring into our lives. And my grandma was the one that was the canner. And I remember like playing in her pantry and like, or playing hide and go seek and like just being in awe of her pantry, and then being in trouble because we weren't supposed to play in her pantry. And now I understand, like, don't play in the pantry. But anyways, I just remember it was like so pretty with all the canned items on the shelves, and to think that she raised 8 kids and fed them all, like all through the winter with all of her canned items. Like, I know how much work it is now to just do 7 jars at a time. Like, it's just awe-inspiring. But most of my grandparents had passed away when I was in my early 20s, and my husband's grandma is 93, and she is a huge part of our lives just daily. I talk to her almost daily, and just to think that, like, you know, she was born in, you know, the 1920s, you know, and she's lived 100 years, and to know that, like, she experienced like World War II and the Depression, and growing up with the parents that like survived through the Depression, and to really like learn those lessons that you learn from your grandparents or your great grandparents or just other people that you choose to learn from, and learn from their mistakes and learn how to live a better life or better for your family. When I was growing up, I grew up in a place called Cooper's Corner, and Mrs. Cooper, she was over 100 years old, and I was one of her caretakers like the last 10 years of her life, and she was like family to us. So she was over 100 years old when she died, and when I was in college and high school, I helped take care of her. So spending hours a day with somebody that was 100 years old and like really trying to learn things and learn how things were done. So grandparents and older people definitely has been where I've taken my inspiration from over the years, and then just that wanting to make the generational change to try to go back to the old ways, and slow down, and be a better mom, and live a better legacy for our great grandchildren someday. Okay, let's see. Take a breath. We are buying a house in the middle of nowhere next month. Your post has given me hope that we can live a non-wasteful life and create a homestead we've always wanted. That's the funny thing. Like, we live like 2 stoplights away from 5 grocery stores. Like, the idea of not running to the grocery store and changing our ways to that, like 3 years ago or 2 years ago now, I don't know, whatever, a couple of years ago, that like we knew that running to the grocery store was killing our budget, and being able to look out the window and actually see a grocery store and no, I'm not going. Like, that's like even harder. But our goal is to move to a farm and to be somewhere that is away from grocery stores. So this has really proved us the last 2 years, over 2 years, that we don't need to go to the grocery store but once every 3 weeks, once a month, and still have fresh produce, because I knew I could do all the other things and have all the other things, but it was the fresh produce that I was worried about. So we're kind of lucky where we live, though, because where we live we get milk delivery every other week, so that is something that I'll have to we do have backups where we use like almond milk and powdered creamer and stuff, but when we move and we don't have milk delivery, that is going to be something, which is kind of fun. My the Smith brothers, they're a local milk delivery. They're over 100 years old. My great grandparents were they had the dairy farm that helped supply some of the milk that went to Smith Brothers. I don't know how else to say that. But anyways, it's cool that it's, 100 years later and Smith Brothers is still delivering to people's homes. Okay. Where can I see your tips, tricks, and recipes? Everywhere. If you, here on Instagram, and then the main place is the blog, which is thecrosslegacy.com. We're the Cross Legacy everywhere. So we're thecrosslegacy.com, the .com, and then you can go, when you go to there, there's like all the different, you can go to strawberries or lettuce. You can download the free book that's 175 pages that I did with 15 other homesteaders. So that's completely free, and it's on the blog. It's all hearts. But anyway, so that's on the blog. There's all kinds of free resources on there. And remember, we just hit 6 months, so there's so much more to come. And we're building a team, so we'll be able to put out more content and that kind of stuff. And then we just started YouTube. So all these lives that I do are on YouTube, and then we are starting to work in January where we have edited shorter videos that have like a project from start to finish on YouTube. So youtube.com, The Cross Legacy. We are trying to grow that. The more that we grow it, the more videos that we will do. But anyways, so those won't be, right now we still do the question and answer kind of things, but we will be putting edited videos over there. And then we have a Patreon account that gets you access to we have a Patreon account that gets you access to a private Facebook group where I get to talk to people and build relationships, and we have like one-on-one calls with them in the Patreon Facebook group. So there's a public Facebook group, and then there's the private Patreon member-only Facebook group. And we're on TikTok. We're everywhere. So just look for The Cross Legacy. We're everywhere. So, and it's always the 3 words, The Cross Legacy. Okay. You can find me everywhere. Yeah, somebody answered. But The Cross Legacy. So, I just came to see the smile. That's funny. So, okay. How do we support The Cross Legacy? You go over to YouTube and you subscribe. That's what we're trying to grow that really quickly. I'm honestly, like, we have 76,000 followers here on Instagram. even half of you guys went over to YouTube, YouTube would help us grow this really quickly. But anyways, we could put ads on the blog, but I haven't done it yet because I just don't know if the timing's right, and I kind of hate ads, but I don't like junk mail, that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to make good decisions. But the best way to do it is to go over there. And then Patreon, for the members that are joining us, there's a couple on here. But the Patreon members, they pitch in $10 a month, and that gets them access to some extra free things. But that Patreon group, they're really just saying that they support us and they support our cause, and they know that like I'm helping them and their families more than $10 a month, and so they are pitching in to help us raise this cause, to try to help other families. So we love our Patreon members. We have a call coming up where it's just me and the group, and we get to see each other's faces and they can ask me questions. Okay, Lindsay, we need more questions. Oh, there we go. Do I have any tips for families with allergies? So we are an allergy family. I will talk about my allergy, and then, but we have lots of allergies and different food things in the families. But I deal with soy, and having like any like condiments and stuff that have soy in it just makes me sick. So we also learned if somebody has an egg allergy and with soy allergy, then it might be the soy feed. And so we started raising our own chickens, and with that and not having soy in the feed, it makes it so it actually wasn't an allergy to the eggs, it was the allergy to the soy. But anyways, everything I do, I try to break back down into single ingredient items. And I try to break back down into single ingredient items, and that way I can rebuild things. So like I can make salad dressing from like honey mustard salad dressing. I break it down to the mayonnaise. Like I can make the mayonnaise with egg and oil and rebuild like the whole salad dressing, or make chicken strips that are like allergy friendly for our family. And so those kind of things I'm going to be teaching on short little videos, how you can make things that are allergy friendly by breaking them back down to the single ingredient items. And it really helps when you find out like somebody in your family is diabetic or has different like issues, that you already have things that are broken down. So if you have things in your pantry that are like food storage kind of stuff, and find out that you have an allergy or a new diet that you need to deal with, it's easier than not having to feel like you have to get rid of half the things in your pantry, because you've already kind of broken everything down to single ingredient items. You mentioned freezing hot dog rolls. Do you have a trick to keep them fresh and not freezer burned? Yeah, I think the biggest trick is to just rotate the stuff. So like I don't really leave hot dog buns or hamburger buns in the freezer more than like 3 months. So I think that's a big part of it. So I don't do anything special to them. Sometimes I'll open up the bag just to get a little bit air if they seem a little icicle-y, but I think if you're using everything like that kind of stuff within 3 months or seasonally, then it doesn't get freezer burned like a package of hot dog buns that were forgot from last summer in the freezer, which happens. So, okay, so that was allergies. Let me scroll here for a second. I'm gonna cough. I don't know. Choked on myself. Hold on, sorry. What is the best lesson you have learned as a mom and a woman? Oh, that you're not perfect, and nobody's perfect. And yeah, I guess I'm going to go there. But my best lesson is to tell moms what's real. And I was just having a conversation with somebody yesterday that I always especially to new moms, okay? Especially to new moms. My biggest thing, especially in a big group, if a mom is asking breastfeeding advice or advice about postpartum or those kind of things, is to be real and to really tell my experience. And, you know, I believe a fed baby is best. And so, yeah, to be able to say, you know, that I breastfed for a full year, and it probably wasn't the best decision. And it probably wasn't the best thing for anybody. But it was what everybody was telling me was the right thing to do, and those kind of things. And I wish I would have had more women in my life saying it was okay just to feed my baby with formula, feed my baby however it needed to be. It didn't have to be what everybody else was telling me, that it was okay. And I think there's just this stigma about moms having to be perfect and always be imperfect, and that image that you put on Facebook, that, you know, or social media, that everything's just always grand. Well, everything isn't always grand, and there's hard times, and there's times that you just need to help another mom through something. And so we've had struggles. I teach about food preservation and budgets and those things because I know what it's like to work 5 jobs and worry that we don't have grocery money. And I think it's through those struggles, whatever struggle that we have dealt with through our lives, is how God uses us to reach other people. And so I've never looked back on something bad that has happened in my life and been angry about it or mad at God about it or anything. Like, it is what it is, and this way I can touch somebody else. I can help somebody else through something that I had went through. And that's what's really important to me, is to really be real. Like, there's really, really a bunch of dishes sitting over here. You know, my kitchen is not clean right at this moment. You know, and, you know, just being real and being honest and being honest with the struggles in life, and even with produce and different things. Like, that's why it's so important to me to not schedule out a ton of posts and stuff, and really show you, like, today, this is what's in my fridge and this is what's going on. Like, I'm not taking pictures of produce and posting it 3 weeks later and telling you it still looks great. Like, I'm trying to do lives and different clips and stuff to show you what my produce looks like 2 and 3 weeks in, even though we would normally eat it. Like, it's kind of funny that we're kind of trying not to eat some things just so we can show how long it lasts. But anyways, but that being real, that, you know, everything doesn't have to be picture perfect all the time. Oh yeah. Yeah, somebody said you can support me by our Amazon links too. I totally forgot about Amazon. Amazon is actually what has paid us the most money so far out of anything. So it is unreal how many Amazon clicks and links. And yes, thank you for mentioning that. So that's one of our Patreon members. But yes, Amazon. So if you go to the links in the bio, it takes you to the Amazon store, and all the things that are in there are things that I've truly bought and used in my house, and, you know, things that I would recommend. I don't just randomly have stuff on there. And if the price is too high on there on something, I don't put it on either. There's one item that I purposely have not put on there because the price is wrong. I need to breathe, sorry. But anyways, and then in the blog links, if there's any links for Amazon, those actually are even more wonderful than going to the store. So anyways, but yes, Amazon has really been a supporter of us. So how do we start doing things the Cross Legacy way? Oh, somebody said the Cross Legacy way. Anyways, what items do we need? You need vinegar. So it's like $3. I don't have a random bottle laying around, but it's like $3 at the store. You want to get the one that says, now it's going to bug me. Let me grab one. Here we go. you want the vinegar. It's going to be backwards up there, but at least it makes me feel better. I showed you. But that has the 5% acidity on it. If you're in the United States, if you're in the UK or Australia, I guess it says 4.5%. So you want the 4.5 or 5% distilled white vinegar. Some places it just says white vinegar, but you get the idea. It's all the same thing. You do not want the vinegar that says 7 to 8%. That's for like cleaning your showers, not for cleaning produce. So not for food, not to eat. So anyways, this is like $3. Well, even a gallon size is only like $3. I paid more because I wanted a glass bottle, which I refill. I refill it with the plastic jugs. So anyways, this just fits my kitchen better. But yeah, like most things that I do, if you have a old pickle jar or an old spaghetti jar and $3 to spend on vinegar, you're going to save money on your produce. So, and water. But there's, different size jars you can get and all the things. But for years, we used pickle jars that were recycled pickle jars. Let's see if there's any more questions. So again, if you're just jumping on, this is kind of a different live. I'm just kind of talking a little bit about me and the Cross Legacy and why we're here and getting you guys to know me a little bit better. So and then we're going to end up clipping this into little segment kind of things because we need some little segments for some news things that are coming up. So anyway, it's all crazy and exciting. But I'd rather have talked to you guys and feel like I'm talking to friends and then instead of just talking randomly to myself. So I'm going to fix my shirt because it's driving me crazy. There you go. Sorry. Okay. How do we get our family members? How do we get our family members and kids involved in food prep? So kids is easy. Like you just say that you're going to give some strawberries a bath and let them tuck their fingers in it. But I love getting littles involved in anything. But for your family and stuff, like, well, my husband, if I have stuff that's prepped in the fridge, he's way, way more interested in making himself a sandwich or going to grab carrot sticks for a snack or, whatever it is that if it's easy, they will eat it. So that part of it is easier. And then when you start thinking about, yes, it might take 2 or 3 hours, one day a month to wash and prep and get everything away in the refrigerator, but you think of all the times that you're normally running to the grocery store and coming home and doing this and, all those kind of things. If it's just one day a month or one day every 3 weeks, it's not that much time, compared to how long it takes just to run across the street and go grab something at the grocery store and bring it home and make it. And when your family starts realizing that there's food always available in the fridge, it's always ready to go, it just, everybody gets on board quickly. So let's see. Can you do a video sometime about storing pantry items? Oh, yes. I actually just did a video the other day about potatoes and onions and garlic and squash. And then I talked about, I ended up talking for a whole hour. But if you go back like 2 or 3 days ago, Sunday, what's today? Today's Tuesday. Yeah, just like 2 days ago, I talked about all of the pantry produce items. And so that is on Instagram. If you go back like just 2 days, 3 days, it'll be there. It's the last live video I did. And then it's on YouTube. So it's at youtube.com, The Cross Legacy. So I just uploaded it onto YouTube last night. So it's in both places that you can watch that. And then so that I was talking about the produce part of the pantry and what I store. And then this month I'm working on talking more about what I store in inventory and that kind of stuff for the winter months to help teach you guys about like everything else. So I'm not produce related. So like your baking items and your sugars and oils and that kind of stuff. And a peek inside my freezers. Let's be honest here, there's two. So the salad spinner is a game changer to help the leafy produce the cross legacy way. I haven't always had a salad spinner. I got one a couple years ago off of our Buy Nothing group, and it was huge. It would not even fit in the normal like cover up above the fridge. Like, it was huge, and the thing didn't pop down. And anyways, it was huge. It was too big, and so then I got rid of it, and then I ended up buying one, and the one that I have is on our Amazon store. But I like that the lid, well, it's in the cupboard, but anyways, when you put the lid down, you can lock it, and then it's not sticking up and taking up extra space, so it fits in a normal size just cabinet. Our house is only 1,100 square feet, so cabinet space is something I care about a lot. So I'm gonna kind of half sit on this chair here. And let's see. I tried wilted lettuce in water like you did. Oh, yeah. I tried wilted lettuce in water like I did one day, and it totally perked up. Yeah, I totally randomly I wonder if this will work. And I cut off the ends of romaine that I had left, after that live that one night. So we went to a live event with people, and then and I didn't put the stuff away that night into the fridge. Well, I put it in the fridge, but I didn't put it into containers. So I washed it in front of the people at the event, and then it wasn't until later the next day I put it into containers. But anyways, I cut off the ends of it, and I put it in water, and the lettuce perked right up. So somebody else said that they had tried that. So that was from the November live, I think. What is your favorite item to prep and recipe to make? This is so random that I just don't believe that everybody doesn't do it, but taco meat. I never ever make less than 6 pounds of taco meat at a time. I always make big batches of taco meat and then put them in smaller bags and put them in the freezer. Pulled pork was what we had for dinner last night too. I always get a huge pulled pork and cook that, and then we have 8 other meals from it, kind of thing. So those are probably my two easiest. Those go in the freezer. They only took 1 pan. They didn't take any extra time. And then we always have taco meat and pulled pork in the freezer. I'm trying to think of what else. How many times a week do I cook? Yeah, let's see. Lindsay knows me. I don't really cook that much. So, my goal always is 2 days a week to make something that we are making bigger and batch cooking, and then it goes into the freezer. So I swallowed funny, but anyways, so 2 days a week, I will make something, and then that goes into the freezer. So I make taco meat, and right, goals. So, and then I have a whole shelf in the freezer, which it's kind of getting depleted a little bit because I've been since October, I've been using a lot of those meals since we went viral, and I spend more time on social media than I have been in the kitchen. But anyways, so whatever we're making that week, if I can batch cook it and put it in the freezer, then I try to put it in the freezer. So this week we're going to be making some lasagnas to put in the freezer, and then that way, instead of just making one night's worth of lasagnas, I'm going to make 3 or 4. See, everybody's all the hearts. And so and then that way 2 or 3 nights a week, I'm just pulling random things back out of the freezer, and they're not leftovers because it's totally different. Last night, last night we had pulled pork that I actually made in August, and I literally had a 15-minute break and we had dinner. It was really easy. So, somebody's excited because they caught us live. It's just all random. You never know when we're going to pop on. But how often do your chickens lay eggs for you guys? Well, they normally lay an egg a day. And right now, because of all the snow, they've been freeloaders. So for the first time in years, I had to go buy some eggs when we went grocery shopping on New Year's Eve. So anyways, so normally each chicken normally lays 1 egg a day. So in the wintertime when there's snow, sometimes that gets pushed off to every day and a half or every 2 days. Right now they're just rebelling because we don't ever have snow, and we've had snow for a week. So anyways, so I always joke that I don't say how many chickens I have because I live in a cul-de-sac, and we're only supposed to have 3. So I might have some of my neighbors' chickens, but anyways. Okay, let's see. Questions? Are there any more questions? Somebody's excited that we're here. So I live in a cul-de-sac. We have a large garden. Our garden is what we use for like fresh salad items, but it's not big enough that we use for like canning. So like in the summertime, I canned a lot of things, but in the summertime, like I go to the farmer's market or the produce stand and I get cases of things. So I got 150 pounds of tomatoes that I case. So I have tomatoes for the whole year. So whenever I make spaghetti squash or soup or stew or whatever I need tomatoes in, I already have those tomatoes that I canned. So our garden in our backyard it's not big enough for that, but it is big enough to, look pretty and for, for some, like all of our salad stuff and like peas and beans and, fresh tomatoes are out there. And then we have chickens in our backyard, and our neighbor has pigs, which is kind of fun, but they're pet pigs. They're not ones that they're pets. They're their pets. So, anyways, so it's kind of fun. We are about as homesteady as you can get in a neighborhood. And then our goal is to move. That is my word of the year. My word of the year is to move. I always say that my heart beats 509. We live in Washington State, and we live now in the Seattle area. That's where I've grown up. And then everything on the other side of Mount Rainier is 509. Like the whole other side of the state is the 509 area code. So I don't care where I end up over there, but my heart beats 509. So, so that is our goal. What is our typical grocery budget? Okay. This one's kind of hard because, it's hard. So, we went from 2 years ago to only having a couple days worth of groceries in our house to rethinking the way that we think about things. And over the last 2 years, we've built up a longer term pantry. And longer term, we think of like our meat supply we buy once a year. So it's been averaging that I spend around $80 to $120 on produce a month, and making sure none of it goes bad. But then I buy bigger things too. Like I bought 40 pounds of oranges at one time, but those oranges are going to last me for months. So those 40 pounds of oranges came in. So it's long term and it goes over. But anyways, and our family size, it changes. I'm going to be careful with family size stuff. But anyways, our family size changes. So I normally plan on around $135 per person for the month. So, and then they say that even if it's 2 people in the household, that you should always start, even for 2 people, a household budget should be $300 at minimum. So, instead of it being the $260, $270, it should still start at $300 for 2 people. So if you think of 2 people, and then if you have any extra ones, on average, that's like $135 extra per extra person that you have. So, and then we are gluten-free, soy-free, all the things. And so allergy families, we buy organic, like those kind of things. But, anyways, we don't go over $500 no matter who's here. And it's not, when I'm buying stuff, it's not just to make sure that we're stocked up for this month, it's make sure that we're stocked up for months at a time. So if I didn't go to the grocery store for a couple of months, I would be okay. And I keep all that rotated, so nothing is going to waste. So, It was kind of a roundabout answer. Ours was around $500 a month for 3 people before I started the Cross Legacy. Yeah, yeah. So and we don't go out to eat, so that's including our out to eat budget. So unless it's a very very special occasion. So yeah. So we're not getting fast food and that being part of our thing because we have allergies. Right. Sometimes a toddler seems like they're more expensive than other things. Yeah. So it seems like I can spend more on groceries, but we do have a longer term pantry that we're stocking up for. So if the grocery store's closed or something changed with our budget, we are good for a while with things that we have in our house. And those kind of things I just keep rotated. So I always have so many cubes of butter in my house, and then as I'm using butter, I just keep adding the butter, but that main part of the butter always stays there. Okay, so she said, I'm done with my questions, but if anyone else has any questions, we're done. So if anybody else, this is your chance. If anybody else has any questions you want to know about me, I am, for the sake of our family's privacy, after we had some newspaper articles published in the UK, I'm more cautious about what I say about how big our family is and who's at our house and all those kind of things. Where do you shop and when do you grocery shop? So I do. So, okay, there was 2 questions that came in. Where do I go grocery shop? So I normally grocery shop in the summertime, not in the middle of winter time, but we have a produce stand that's like a half an hour away from us. And so I try to go there once every 3 weeks if I can. It is a half an hour away. And then Costco is really close to me, so I go to Costco too. But normally I do those 2 shopping trips, those two stops on the same day. So, and then we have a local market that I go to a lot. Not a lot. Once every 3 weeks, but I really like the market. So we are doing a live event on Friday there. So at the Port Aves. So we're going to be at Port Aves in Bonnie Lake at 7:00 on January 7th. So sorry, I get like we call it squirrel brain. I get there's like 1,000 things going on in my mind at the same time. So that was the grocery shopping one. Any tips for shopping for 8 people? Yes. So here's when we are putting stuff in our fridge and we're putting it in the jars and they're taller, it's taking up less of the wasted space in your fridge. So you would be surprised how much stuff I can cram into my fridge when you're putting things in different containers. It really helps. So that's my main suggestion for a bigger family, is to get it out of the Costco containers and stuff and get them into jars and different things. Even I was thinking about last night, I do the Greek yogurt from Costco and I put it in a quart-sized jar, and that jar takes up so much less space than the awkward plastic container that is an awkward plastic container in there. So anyway, so somebody's asking, for a larger family. So, and then my other goal always is not to waste produce. So I don't go to the grocery store for budget reasons, because it helped us realize that we were spending $50 every time we ran across the street to go to the grocery store. And but at the time we had a larger family and we felt like we needed to be going to the grocery store all the time, but to really plan ahead and see what you can use in that time frame. So if you went to the store and you bought everything you can possibly buy that would fill up your fridge or your freezer or your freezers, but that could fill up your fridge, and then know I have 8 kids and there's no way that we are going to be able to last 3 weeks with that. If you could go a week and a half or a week or 2 weeks and just pushing those shopping trips out, you'll realize how much money that you can save right away. And and we really tried to use up almost everything in our fridge before we go shopping again. So that last 3 or 4 days before I go shopping, I'm really trying to use up everything I can. So when we were going to the grocery store and trying to feed a house full of littles, like we were going all the time, and it just felt like things were getting lost in the fridge, and then we would end up tossing things. Well, it would go to the chickens. So, but still, just said that putting things in different containers should help drastically what you can get into the fridge. So, and it's all about the fridge. Somebody asked, where do we buy our meats? We buy our meat from a local farmers. So we have a farmer that raised the cow and a farmer that raised a pig, and then we get chicken. We get chicken from Costco most of the time. We've gotten it delivered a couple times, but for the most part, for beef and pork, we do a once a year purchase, and so we do that directly through a farmer, and then you, like when the animal is small, then you put a deposit down and you pay as you're going, and then at the end you get the meat from the butcher. So that really helped our budget when we started. Okay, we need to put $125 aside for meat, but then that's the whole, that's 2 years worth of meat once it comes in. So, have I thought about doing a live cook prep with me? Yes, I have. Yeah, I need to do it. So I have 5 pages of lists of different videos I want to do, and just trying to find the time to do them all. But now that we have somebody that can edit the videos, that really helps. I would love to shop in advance with the list and then cook and prep items along with you. Oh yeah, we've actually been talking about doing that on the Patreon group. So to do a batch cooking meal. It's not going to happen for January, but we're probably going to plan it for February, where we do a batch cooking meal all together as a group, and then then you can put it in the freezer. So we're trying to see where everybody's levels are of cooking, what they want to do, and then what their family allergies are, because that's big to be able to help families in the Patreon group. If they're dealing with allergies, I can help them make swaps. I'm not a dietitian or anything. We've just been dealing with allergies for a really long time. The gallon size jars for the strawberries are at the Amazon store. Somebody's asking. So it's in the links in the bio. We'll take you to the Amazon store. So if you're on Instagram, you go to the links. What about condiments? Do you buy them? I buy a couple, but we have to make a lot of things. So my husband likes teriyaki sauce, and I can't have teriyaki sauce at all, and that's just one that we do buy. But barbecue sauce, even ketchup, ranch, any salad dressings, those kind of things I'm making. So so I make them because of allergies. But for any size family, what Amy has taught us to freeze things before they go bad. Example, extra spinach, batch cooking, to use peppers, etc. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, the things that I've done, it goes from a big family to just the two of us. So, and anywhere in between. So we have all the different mixes. Have you noticed a difference in taste from the meat from a local farmer versus store-bought? How expensive is it for the year? So we had budgeted $125 per month for meat. I don't know. Somebody do the math. I don't have my calculator handy. What is that? But anyways, it was for a year's worth of meat. So that's over $1,000. Come on, somebody has a calculator. Anyways, I budget $125 for meat a month, and that's for the long-term purchases. And we have 2 freezers full of meat. So, or full. We have one meat freezer, and then we have another freezer that's full of berries and vegetables and the bread and cheese and all the other things. So I am going to give you guys a sneak peek of that in the coming weeks. But anyways, taste, it just depends on if you're getting all grass fed or if you're getting grain finished or just the different things. So yeah, it depends on who your farmer is and how they're grown. So commercially they're grown with a lot of grains, which we can't have. So perfect. I'm going to join the group. There you go. So you go to patreon.com and then we send you a message, and then we give you the special access code to get into the Facebook group. So, and then I don't know if they decided for sure. We were asking a question. I think there's going to be the live call for the group. I think it's going to end up being on Saturday this week. I don't know if we made the final decision on that. So it was either Saturday or Monday. I don't think the final decision was made. And then when on the group this week, I'm going to give you guys some options on what we want to do to make in February. So what about lettuces and greens that come out washed in a box, rewash, dry, and store in glass? Yeah, so I stopped buying like pre-cut lettuce mixes. They just don't last as long. But yeah, I would still rewash it. When you watch the news and they start recalling things, like know that your vinegar has killed what's the listeria? Is that the L one? Whatever. If you've rewashed your things, you don't have to worry about so much when things are getting recalled. Like, I would still, if your thing is getting recalled, to recall it, but to know that is how you can protect your family. So I would still rewash anything and store it in glass. If you go to thecrosslegacy.com/washing lettuce, gives you a whole blog post on that. And then there's another one on spinach, which they're the same process, but there's a little bit different wording and some different tips if you read both of them. So, and then I just buy romaine pretty much for lettuce now, and the romaine will last a month if you put it in the glass container that I have linked on the Amazon store. So, which ironically is kind of funny. The right container has a whole chicken in it, so, but it fits a whole head of lettuce, and it fits on my shelf. So, let's see. Yes, buying privately from a butcher individually is much less expensive than the grocery store, definitely, and especially, yeah, because there's not the fluctuation in prices. So you are making an agreement with the farmer that this is the price it's going to be, and if it's like $3 per pound, then all your cuts of meat are that price. So instead of going and buying a steak or something that's $8 a pound, you paid $3 a pound for it. Since we are talking about my freezer and different things, people always ask me, we have a generator, we have backup gas, I have a camp stove and propane and a pressure cooker. Like, I have backups to the backups to the backups. If my freezer went out, if the power went out for long term, I can pressure can meat. So I'm not just putting a bunch of meat in a freezer and not having a backup to that. So we have a generator, we have backup gas, we have propane and a pressure cooker and all the things. So if the power went out for even 2 weeks, I would be totally fine. So I get messages about that all the time. So looks like I'll be looking for a local farmer. Yes, yeah, look for a local farmer, ask around, and see who's starting. They might be finishing off for the year, and then they start like new calves in the spring sometimes. So there's kind of a little lull right here. Will you talk about emergency Yes, I will be talking more about emergency preparedness on Patreon. Again, for like family safety kind of things. Not as much on here, so just little snippets sometimes, because I can't not say it, because then 1,000 people ask me, but what happens if your freezer dies? But anyways, so yes, so Patreon is where I can share all the deets for everything. So anyways, thanks for all the hearts. If anybody has any last questions, we've been on here for an hour and it cuts us off. So I'm going to pop off for a second, but I appreciate you guys sitting here with me and listening to me jibber jabber about random things in my life. No, but it really does help when I feel like I'm talking to friends instead of just talking to myself. So it's hard to talk to yourself on the camera, and or well, it's my phone, but you know what I mean. But anyways, this week I'm canning some bone broth, pressure canning it, and that's been in the refrigerator for a couple days. I have to do that. And and then we are working on an inventory sheet that will be out on the blog soon-ish, and some different things. And then if you are local to me in the Pierce County area of Washington, on Friday at Poor Dave's at 7 o'clock, we are going to be live there, and that will be filmed live also. So we're going to be at the market at Poor Dave's, so that'll be fun. So they have a really good beer selection, and my husband is like, he talks about beer stuff all the time, so he can tell you like which one's great and which one's not, and or he probably wouldn't say which one's not, but I think he's going to end up talking about his favorites over there. So anyways, it might be a little bit more than produce. So anyways, everybody have a great day, and thanks for stopping by. And if you have any questions, always send me messages, but go follow us on YouTube. So YouTube, The Cross Legacy. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.